Hey everybody, Mac Monster, back with Marvel Heroes, and back with Venom, and we got his new build, We Are Legion. Level 60, and he leveled really quick. He's wicked strong. Probably hard to go really wrong with him, but I really like this build. I found it just tears apart anything that it goes through. So for the build, what we're doing is we're putting 20 points into Hungering Strike. That's regenerating 8% of your missing health. Keyword there, missing health. So whatever health you're missing, 8% of that gets back per hit. We're putting 20 points into Come to Venom. This is putting out a very small cone effect that reaches out kind of a good length, but it's a very narrow cone as you're used to probably very wide cones. And drawing enemies into you. It's also increasing your base melee damage by 10% for 8 seconds, and it restores 150 ichor, and that lasts for that has a 4-second cooldown. But you got to spend 5.6 of your current health. So all health expenditures are what you're currently at. So if you're down low on health, the health expenditure gets lower. We're going to put 20 points into Infect. This has a passive effect of regenerating 5% of your missing health when you hit a weakened enemy. This has an active effect of making all enemies take damage twice per second, pretty good amount of damage twice per second. Remember, this is no gear. And then it weakens all enemies, so there's that weaken effect. However, you have to spend ichor. So we're generating 150 ichor here, and we're spending 111 ichor here. We're going to do 20 points into Symbiotic Spikes. We're going to need this because this casts also Symbiotic Adaptation. That's going to be our 3 passives. You don't necessarily have to take 3 passives, but it's kind of highly recommended. So Symbiotic Spikes being our signature move, it does massive amounts of physical damage, 160 to 240,000 damage ungeared every 25 seconds. So we get to do that quite a lot. And then for every passive that you do take, there's an additional adaptation that happens. So for our first passive, we have a choice between We Are Indestructible and We Are Unstoppable, and we take We Are Unstoppable for this build. So we put 20 points into there, and the adaptation part, when you cast Symbiotic Spikes, will negate 50% of incoming damage for 5 seconds when you activate it. So we get a nice damage negation. Also, it gives us damage negation of 20% automatically. So, Venom's becoming a monster already. As you can see, we've already built him to be a melee character, so that will be very handy. He's also getting defense out of this passive, so that's more damage negation. Health cost reduction for spending powers is lowered. So when we cast where was it? Come to Venom, we'll spend less health. And for 10 seconds after being dealt a killing blow, your health cannot be brought below 1. So instead of dying, you'll stay alive and you cannot be killed for 10 seconds. So that's pretty awesome. And then, once you're below 50% maximum health, you negate an additional 20% damage. So it makes you just a killing machine that takes very little damage. And then you're regenerating a lot of health through Hungering Strikes. Our second passive set, you have your choice between We Are Cunning and We Are Powerful, and obviously we're going to put 20 points into We Are Powerful. This is making Symbiotic Spikes have the effect of having increased range of the pull by 35%. So this increases the pull of the screen of Symbiotic Spikes. This basically reaches out across the screen and pulls all the enemies in towards you and then blows up. So that range is increased by 35%. Gives a critical hit rating and doubles that when you hit with a melee power. Melee damage negated is 9.7%. So that's on top of 20% damage negation over here. So at below 50% maximum health, in some instances you're actually negating 50% of incoming damage. That's just insane. A chance to do burst damage of 16 to 24,000 damage on a 3-second cooldown. And you and your allies gain toughness, which is more defense and more maximum health. And then our third set of passives that we have to choose from are We Are Lethal and We Are Legion. And seeing how the build is We Are Legion, obviously we're going to take We Are Legion. And what that does is when you cast Symbiotic Splites, you instantly create 2 symbiote spawns, and you have a chance to also create a symbiote spawn with an ichor power when you hit with an ichor power. So every time you spend ichor, like with Infect, there's a 44% chance to spawn a symbiote spawn that will attack for you. This also gives you damage rating. The symbiote spawns do 1,281 to 1,922 damage per attack, and they also regenerate 101 of Venom's health per hit. You can have a total of 3 spawns, and they'll last 15 seconds. So you can have 3 of those bouncing around doing damage for you, and the attack, it looks like, twice per second. And then the rest of your points are going to go into Predator's Web. And this does a pretty good amount of damage when you attack, but it does CC. It slows attack speed and movement speed for while enemies stand in the web, and then for 5 seconds after they leave the web. Also makes them vulnerable, taking 10% more damage while they're in the web, and 5 seconds after they leave the web. The web hangs around for 5 seconds, and every time you cast it, it restores 75 ichor. And health cost is 2.8% of your current health. So I set it up with the left button being Hungering Strikes, the right button being Tendril Lunge. You get 1 point of that for free. Also, you should put 1 point in Web Swing before you point out Predator's Web if you want to fly around. I put Come to Venom. Then I do Infect, so I suck everything in, I infect them, and then I snare anything left alive while I'm hungering striking them. And if there's a lot of things out there, I hit Symbiotic Spikes. And that's the build. And it's basically ignoring the ichor cost because I'm generating 225 ichor and only spending 111 per rotation. That's another reason why I like it. I don't have to worry about ichor. I don't have to pay attention to it really. I can infect 3 times and still keep this rotation going and regenerate all the ichor. So for gearing, I got really lucky and I got all of Venom's kit. So for slot 5, we got the Madness. This has got a good chunk of defense, a good chunk of health, critical hit damage, rare identifying, special identifying, ichor. When you critically hit, regenerate 150 health. You can double that if you're under 50% health. 25% chance when you hit with a melee or ranged power to gain 467 crit rating and 466 damage rating for 10 seconds. That's always going to be up. Plus 5 ranks to Symbiote Surge, and plus 6 to all Venom's monstrosity powers. False Visage of the Spider. This is dropping like crazy. You should get this easily. I had 7 of them by the time I hit 60. It's got 1600 defense, 1500 health, 226 damage rating with melee powers. It's got brutal damage rating, 3% damage rating versus bosses. Chance to deal damage to an attacker. When you critically hit with a melee power, gain 189 brutal strike rating with melee powers for 8 seconds. Same with ranged powers. Plus 2 to all powers, plus 4 to infect. So that's pretty awesome. Tendrils of Toxin. It has a good chunk of defense rating, it has health rating, critical hit rating, plus 2 to fighting. Power duration. When you hit with a melee power, gain 554 melee damage for 8 seconds. Same with ranged powers, +2 to all powers, +5 to we are cunning, +4 to we are powerful, +6 to symbiotic spikes. So that's pretty awesome. Anti-Venom symbiote. 2,449 defense, a big chunk of defense. The same amount of health +1 durability also. Big amount of defense on this item right here. Minus health cost to powers. You take 2.6 less damage from melee powers. When you hit with a melee power, gain 547 damage rating, 3% block chance, and 273 defense rating for 10 seconds. When you hit with a range power, gain 547 range damage, 273 dodge, and 5% missile deflection for 10 seconds. When you fall below 50% health, gain 410 health regeneration and 547 physical defense rating for 5 seconds. +5 ranks to we are indestructible, +6 to Venom's symbiosis powers, +4 ranks to we are unstoppable. This is just awesome. By the way, we got melee era ichor, we got ranged and area. We're hitting with everything. And then finally we got Eddie Brock's tri-weights. This has got kind of a low damage rating, 760, but it's got 760 critical damage rating, 1000 brutal damage rating, +1 strength. That really makes up a lot right there. When you hit, become friendly, gaining 2% attack speed for 6 seconds. You can stack that 3 times. So that's going to be permanent. 41% chance to cause a target to bleed. 139 damage rating versus bleeding target. If you're under 75% health, if you're over 75% health, 119 damage rating versus vulnerable targets. That stacks 3 times. +4 to Venom's lethal protector powers, +4 to Dark Tendrils. I mean, that's just awesome. I went with Excalibur. Obviously, I just got it. The reason I went with Excalibur is because he's pretty hybrided. He's ranged, melee, area, physical damage. He's got pets. He's life on hit. He's life steal. So when you stack life on hit items with Venom's natural abilities to steal life, it's disgusting. It's really, really disgusting, and I'll show you how disgusting it gets. So that's why I went with Excalibur for that extra 200 life when you hit. Plus the 1000 defense. When you mitigate all that damage coming in, you get to steal more life, and it's even better. So Excalibur is a beautiful weapon for him, especially if you solo. If you're really raiding or whatever, you're probably going to want a Savage Axe or a Gungnir. I got all health on the costume core. I got a 3-to-1 core, 75 or 3000 life, 100 ichor when you use a med kit. I also regenerate 370 health when I hit an enemy with this core. So it's a phenomenal core. As you can see, when Excalibur is leveled, that's going to give me 570 life on hit. Add that to the 8% of missing health that I'm going to regenerate every hit. It's going to be insane. Relic and Lemuria to basically supplement all that extra life on hit. I got an Insignia of Electra. This is really good. 151 crit, 412 crit damage. Plus this has got another 1042 critical damage, plus 195 damage rating with melee powers. Very nice Electra Insignia. I got Bone Breaker on a defensive Uru. Because we don't really need River of the Soul, we're going to go with something that's going to supplement our DPS, and Bone Breaker is pretty good, easy to get. +1 strength, 200 damage rating to melee powers, 2% attack speed, and a little proc, not too bad. Now I got an Indian Industry City Signet, which is critical damage rating, 3.8 attack speed and melee powers, 110 critical hit rating to melee powers. When you hit with a melee power, gain 190 damage rating for 10 seconds. It's got 600 health and +1 to all powers. However, a Cosmic Ring with crit hit, crit damage, melee damage, and whatever else you can get on it will do just nicely. I got my infamous +3 fighting Doom Herbie here. It's also got 2% physical damage, 4% health, +1 to signature. We're going to be double fisting metasensory arrays. This one's got 180 damage rating, 3.7 attack speed, plus 1 all powers for the regular. The advanced has 6.5% attack speed, 302 damage rating, plus 1 all powers. He can work those really, really well. Advanced Crimson Crystal Cider. He's all physical, so this is a natural artifact for him. Pretty easy to get. And this one's got 1,000, almost 1,100 health on it, so that's going to be a very nice supplement to it. This is a high damage, low health advanced kung fu training sequence. 375 damage rating, 669 health, but it'll give us 900 defense and some dodge. And finally, because we're buffing everything all over the place, we're going with a Dr. Octopus medallion on this. Kind of a strange thing to see, but because of the tight knit cone, the small AoE of the infect, the small hit of the Predator's web, Symbiotic Spikes actually hits pretty big, but I can pull things off screen with this Dr. Octopus medallion. A 20% power radius, the crit rating to area attacks, and the damage rating is not too shabby. Now this cone hits a wider area, this hits a bigger area, this hits a bigger area, and this just pulls off screen. And that's a nice hybrid effect. And we'll go destroy a Cosmic Dr. Octopus. The Dr. Octopus medallion is helping us offset the severe lack of a area effect attack that's, for lack of better terming, worth a damn. Oh, defeat curse. Ironic, that's the next video. Because everything's on a 4-second cooldown. We actually have to go in and attack and hammer down. The other change that happened with this patch is it doesn't show you where the boss is anymore. I actually got to go find the boss. A lot of stuff on screen. I smash it with the signature ability. Works really nice. Parallel count going in. That's wrong. There it is. We still need 20. You see what I mean? That signature is just disgusting for clearing big chunks of trash. And those are the little tendrils that are following me there. Don't they look pretty cool with the white costume? And for the boss, as long as you don't do anything completely dumb. Basically find a seat, get your little spot to sit in, and hammer them with your melee. Not necessarily exciting. But he really can't hurt me. The more damage he does, the tougher I become. And the more I'm just sitting here. No med kits, just boom. Plow right through him. And that was Cosmic Dr. Octopus, and he was pretty much not even a challenge. And that's the way it's going to be. So, that's We Are Legion. I hope it helps. Hope you guys enjoyed, and see you real soon for Curse.